So I'm getting started with my brows and just going into doing my foundation. I'm speeding through this portion of the video because I've done it in a more detailed aspect in my previous videos and I didn't want to spend too much time on it again, so I'm just deciding to speed through this process. And I will be back in a couple seconds to talk more about the eye look. Using that same Black Radiance Mahogany shade that I used to contour, I'm using it as a base shade just to get the look started, bringing it up close to my brow bone because I do have hooded eyes and that's something that I have to do, that way that the eyeshadow can be seen. And of course I'm using windshield wiper motions and just blending that out and blending as much as possible on both eyelids. Going into this Zulu palette by Juvia's Place, I'm using the pink shade from it, and I'm just going to go right over that transition shade that I started with and just blend it out. And I'm using the same brush because I like to use the same brush if I can. Into the Masquarade palette, I'm going to use Zobo, which is this brighter pink. It's more vibrant. And I'm just going to take that a little below the pink shade that I used from the Zulu palette and just blend that out. Back into the Zulu palette, I'm going to use this purple that I'm pointing to, and I'm just taking it on the outer portion of my crease, not all the way in, kind of packing it on and then blending it out. Back into the Masquerade palette, I'm going into this purple shade that I'm pointing to called Makita, I believe, and I'm just packing that over the purple that I put on before this shade. Into this Saharian palette, I'm using Chad, which is this black shade, because I didn't have a darker purple and I wanted it a little darker. And just a quick tip, if you use black and you kind of go over a shade, it can help make it darker. So that's what I'm doing right here, is just kind of utilizing my resources. I have no idea what I saw at this moment, but now I'm going into cutting my crease, and I'm just kind of showing you where I'm going to go. So I start by beginning close to my tear duct area and just covering that area up, and then I bring it out over my lid. And in order to know how far up I need to go, I look up at the ceiling, and as you see, the concealer kind of marks it and lets you know this is where you need to go. And so then I just drag the concealer over and kind of carve my crease out according to that. And if you don't like how it looks, you can kind of drag it out some more. If you want to blend it together, this is what I'm doing right there, just blending that purple back in and then setting it with just setting powder. From here, back into the Masquerade palette, I'm using this blue that I'm getting and just packing it over the portion of my lid that I cut with the concealer. Going back into this Masquerade palette, I'm using the blue that's beside it that's a little bit more vibrant and packing that over it and that just kind of, I felt like it showed up a lot more, and I like the direction that that shade took it to. Going back into the Masquarade palette, I'm just grabbing a little of that purple and the first blue that I used and mixing them together. And what I'm doing is blending out between that blue and the purple. That way they transition well into one another, and it's not just like a harsh stop and start. So I'm just blending it out and getting those two to blend well together. I'm using this e.l.f. gel. It's like a glitter gel, and it just helps any shades that's like shimmer pop a lot more. And so I'm just placing that over the blue that I have on my lid, and I'm placing that on both lids obviously, but a little goes a long way, so it might not look like I'm putting a lot on, but that's because like I said, a little goes a long way. So back into the Zulu palette, I'm just using that pink, and I'm using that like right below my waterline, like right below my eye, and I'm just doing my bottom shadow area and just blending that out. And I'm using the same brush, like I told you guys in the beginning. I use the same brush a lot just because it's less of a headache for me. Going back into this Zulu palette, I'm using this purple that I'm pointing to, and I'm just blending that out and placing that more in the center. Just putting on mascara at this point and putting on the finishing touches, getting that all squared away, and then popping on my lashes because I feel like a look needs a little bit of lashes to be complete. And that's just what I'm doing here, just like I said, adding the finishing touches. This is a brown eyeliner by Wet n Wild. It's their Kohl liner, and I just popped it on my lower waterline. And that's just what I'm doing at this point. Going in, I'm just adding some blush to my cheeks and like contouring my nose. And the fun part, adding highlighter. This is the Lemonade palette, I believe, by Lena Lashes, but I'll list it. This is something that I got in an Ipsy bag a long time ago, but it's really amazing. The fact that I don't know the name off the top of my head, but it's like my favorite lipstick ever, is actually kind of sad, but I would list it in the description box. So this is it. I am going to go ahead and fix my hair, find something to wear, and then I'll be back with the slow-mos and just, yeah. So this is it. Just taking my hair down, like I said. Enjoy these slow-mos, and thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it.